All right, Miss Tia, we are live. How's your week been?
It's been all right. It could be better, but it's
Just
been
all right. Come on
yeah.
now,
I was
we
supposed
got
to
to
be
do a
in
little better
Dallas
than all
right
right.
now, having my soul snatched, and I'm in the
We,
DMV.
you're right. We were supposed to. This recording should be happening with a bunch
In
of
Dallas.
booze and random people in Dallas. That's exactly what should be happening right now. I blame you because, as we know, you always blame the shortest person in the room. So it's your fault. It's your fault. It's
No,
definitely your fault.
no, we blame COVID. It's COVID's
Okay,
fault.
okay. I guess we can blame COVID a little bit, but it's still
Yeah,
in my book. It's your fault.
because that's not
Um,
enough there. All the high COVID cases made us
yeah, true.
reschedule.
Yeah, so we had to pull a audible on that. So I mean, before we get into the topics that we have, and I know this is a sex relationship dating podcast, but I feel like we would do the culture injustice if we didn't talk about that damn verses last night. Because listen.
Mm,
That shit had me like, and this is the reason for like the younger crowd because like my kids they know Snoop Dogg's music more than DMX's because DMX's
of
music is
course,
so deep it's not one that you just play. And my son
right.
was like I see why you can like it, but like what was the appeal to DMX? So I'm talking to my son and I'm like, bro, um, DMX was the first man that I saw publicly cry. And that broke
Mm,
down that whole men don't cry thing to me. And like DMX is like this larger than life character. He was the dog and everything. So it's like, he didn't get to see the prayer at the beginning, but for me, it's like DMX is like, I don't know, man. He's like the best of us, and I'm glad he pulled out and won that versus battle. But I mean, that's why DMX is like the shit to me.
that's
And like when they were
subjective.
when huh?
That's subjective.
I'm no, because if you go off every scorecard from a major outlet had DMX winning. Some Revolt had DMX winning by I think like 4 rounds. Some other ones had it like be like 10 or 11-9, so it was closer. But I think unanimously, DMX. What hurt Snoop Dogg is that those middle rounds where he was going too hard into that no limit era. Like I think that hurt him.
Yeah, those freestyle type things he was doing.
Well, not
You
the
talking about
freestyles,
that?
but
Because I didn't
no, I
like
mean
those
actually.
either.
Well, I mean, the freestyles were two old men freestyling, but I mean, at one point, Snoop was killing the freestyle. We got X also. I guess that's kind of on topic to this. X talking about at 13 fucking with a 26-year-old woman and it being raped. Like we don't see man talk about that shit publicly. And I know, like that's something that me and you actually talked about before, where
Right.
I was like, this is something that you should get a group of men together to talk about. But like that's
We're still
something that
working on that.
that we don't touch enough. Is that hell, it happened to me, and at the time, I thought I was being. It was all cool. I thought I was the man on campus because that damn near 40-year-old woman was fucking with me when I was 16. But like looking back, she used some psychology methods on me and predatory. But I know we're getting deep into it. What did you think about the verses?
I thought. Now I'm not gonna lie. Before it started, I was team DMX. I was like,
Okay.
DMX will win. DMX got hits. He was Rough Riders. Like I'm an Eve
Mm-hmm.
fan, and I know he had a lot of influence in that. So I was like, eh. But then once it started, like I always knew Snoop had hits. But then once it started, I was like, okay, Snoop do got better radio hits than DMX did. And then Snoop is more relevant than DMX. So like the younger crowd knows Snoop better
I feel that.
than
I think
DMX.
too. Like DMX's music now, this generation is so soft. Like I don't think
Yeah.
that they would be able to take DMX. It's like it's a few artists now that like just would not be what the Eminem, DMX, a couple of other ones just would not be what they were back then if they were to debut now, even though they can rap their asses off. But yeah, Snoop got hits, man. Snoop got hits.
Yeah, and then like you said, like I think initially DMX started off strong and then
Mhm.
Snoop like it was a tie for a quick second for like maybe the first 3 or 4 rounds, and then Snoop started doing like the freestyling and the no limit stuff, and he lost me.
Yeah.
And then while he was doing that, DMX was still bringing hits like radio hits, and I was like, okay. And then Snoop brought it back. So I don't know. Like I've never been like a super rap fan. So as far as I'm concerned, like when it comes to rap artists doing verses, I look for more for radio hits than anything. So I don't know. To me, it was kind of tied. I don't know.
Nah, DMX took that home, but we're not even gonna get all deep into that. Let's get into the topic that we have for this week.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
all right, so our first topic that we have this week, and this was one that I honestly, I know you texted me. You were like, "Where did these topics come from?" I've just
Yeah,
been thinking about shit to talk about, especially now that we have the group. And that is, can a person be too comfortable in being single, and can that affect their ability to get into a effective relationship? What do you think about that?
absolutely. I can
Absolutely.
think of a few people off the top of my head that I've known that are too comfortable being single versus in a relationship. So definitely, definitely. I mean, because you
Okay.
get used to doing like your own routine and not having to think about nobody else, not having to worry about nobody else. You get food, you ain't gotta, bring food for somebody else. So yeah, I definitely think you can get comfortable in your singleness. What about you?
I mean, I think you can get comfortable, but I don't think that necessarily getting comfortable should be looked at as a negative. I think you can get
No,
comfortable and it not affect your ability to get in a relationship. I think it goes both ways. Like you can get comfortable, but some people can get too comfortable and then not know how to maneuver in a relationship because they've gotten so used to operating just thinking about themselves that when they have to move into thinking about a relationship, it makes it a little bit difficult for them.
that's true. Now, you and I have both been single for a pretty decent time. Like, what would you say about that when it comes to you? Because I think for me, I am very comfortable in being single, but I feel like I kind of want the end goal so bad that I can tether the fence. Like I can go either way. But how are you with it?
I think for me, like it's not like the way that I've maneuvered in being single. For me, it's like I know what I will and won't deal with, so I don't think it necessarily is going to affect me when I get into a relationship. I worry about me being so at peace, like and not wanting to deal with anybody else's bullshit, like because
Yeah,
everyone. Like my thing is that I'm at a level now with my emotional intelligence and being able to communicate that I worry that that may be off putting to someone who's still in that journey that I think it may affect in the long run, but that's really the only thing I could think of.
yeah. I think I can go either way. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to be single forever, but I feel like I've been single for so long that I like my peace. And at this
Hmm.
point, if you're going to disrupt my peace, like I can't, I won't trade one for the other. As bad as I
Oh
want
yeah.
the other, I won't trade one for the other.
But I think that that's natural, right? That's how it should be. You shouldn't. And I read this post today that it was like, should you compromise your happiness for the greater happiness of the relationship? And my idea of that is if you feel like you have to compromise on something you're happy with, well, your happiness in general, then the relationship can't be happy. Like it's
That's
impossible to do.
true.
Like you shouldn't have to compromise your happiness. Now you should make compromises within a relationship, but if something is making you truly happy and you have to compromise that, like if somebody's like if you have your pampering time and you get in a relationship and they're like, well, you have to give that up. That's time we could be spending together. No, you still need that time for yourself.
Oh,
And I think we forget that. Like you still need to make that time for yourself, even in being in a relationship.
yeah, essentially, you should still be yourself, and anyone that comes into your space should be an added bonus. That's how I look
Definitely,
at it. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. But I know a few people, guys and females, that are way too comfortable in their singleness that they're like, okay, I'm just gonna deal with everybody. I'll get a little bit of this person and that person from here. When I don't want to be bothered, I'll just, not be bothered.
Those are those toxic people. Like
Yeah.
I think like some people who, and this is why being single and effectively being single is important, right? Because people get into into being single, and they can date multiple different people, which that's fine to do when you're single. But then they start like, well, I'm getting this piece from this person, I'm getting this piece from this person, I'm getting this piece from that person, and they're not taking the time out to like fulfill them to get filled as a person themselves. So like then when the idea comes to just be with just one person because you've relied on getting these things from different people,
So many. Yeah.
you haven't gotten that within yourself, so you don't know how to operate within it.
Yep. I was just having this conversation this week. You'd be surprised I've had this conversation at least 3 times this week, and it's only Thursday. So, yes, I definitely understand. It's not just the ladies, it's the men too. Oh, wait, did we lose Hayes? Oh my gosh. What happened? I think we lost Hayes, guys. Let's see if he comes back in a second. It is like raining and thunderstorming, so maybe his power went out. Let's see. We've never had so many technical issues as we've had this month. This month has been insane. I don't understand what happened. Last week it was me, and this week it's him. Our apologies, guys. Let's see.
You miss me?
Yes. Like, it is thunderstorming. He never has technical issues.
I don't. The dog tripped over the internet Ethernet cable. So
okay.
yeah, one time being connected to Wi-Fi didn't work out for me. But
I was like, let's wait a second, guys. He's still on.
No, I'm back. But yeah, so and I know you were talking. What did I miss? What were you saying? I know I had left off on like saying people who spend time being single, like getting a bunch of things from different people, but not really knowing how to get that within themselves, and you were responding to that.
Yeah, I was just saying I've had that conversation at least 3 or 4 times this week with men and women. So
Okay.
it's not just a one gender kind of thing. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
that's
For sure.
definitely happening more frequently lately. I think because people also like, I feel like the older you get, the less there is of a pool to choose from. And not so much that you don't have options, because I feel like everyone has options. It's just
Oh, I'm glad you said that. But go ahead, continue. Don't let me stop you. Go ahead.
at this point, when you're 30 and over, it's more of, and I'm almost 35, so it's more of quality over quantity as opposed to the number of options that you have.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's my point too. Like I see like everyone who's like, well, do men have more options? Do women have more options? Listen, everyone who's single is
Has
technically single. Is technically single by choice because there's somebody who would date you today. Now, do they
Yep.
meet your qualifications? Is the question there? But everyone is single
Exactly.
to a degree to a choice because if you just want to be with somebody, there's no endless options of people who will just be with you and they're happy to say they got somebody too. But
That's right.
yeah, I'm glad you said that too. But yeah, I think like something that as we are like normalizing more dating multiple people and stuff while you're single, and that being okay and not being as much of a stigma, especially for women, because at one point you were damn near a scarlet if you admitted that you were dating more than one man. I think that as we're breaking that down, we also need to keep. Go ahead.
It kind of still is.
No, and I'm not. That's why I said we're breaking it down. Not that it's gone
Yeah,
completely, but
at
it's
all.
getting to the point where you still got those people who still think about body count, who still think a woman should just basically be sitting around waiting for a man to choose her. And for those people, shut the fuck up. Like that's just my God's honest opinion of that. Shut the fuck up and stop worrying about what these women are doing. But I think
Amen.
I think as we're getting to that place of seriously of us normalizing dating multiple people and stuff like that, to not let that make you forget about the fact that we still need to be working on ourselves to becoming more complete
Yeah.
people while we're dating multiple people. Because if you're just dating multiple people and you're relying on you to get different things from those different people, you're still in the same place you were, but you might as well have stayed like doing your thing. Like it's you be single, but be single effectively in a way that helps build you and get you better prepared. That's what I think the thing that we need to do is.
I feel like you shouldn't even be dating unless you're whole. Like you have so
Mm,
many unwhole people dating, which is why they find so many things that they want in different people, as opposed to finding the things that they want within themselves.
true. I
And
feel that.
anything that you're in a relationship with should add to you and not be your complete total package of happiness. So you have to bring happiness to yourself. You have to be whole within yourself before you start dating. And I think that's where the breakdown comes from a lot of times.
Yeah, you got to spend that time getting to know you. You got to spend that time, like, and and I don't want to bring call him to the carpet specifically, but like a conversation that you had with Josh on your live, and he brought to the Facebook group as well. It's like if you know that you're not in a place
A
to date or
whole,
be ready, you gotta take some time just for yourself. I'm not saying that you can't get to know people, but like at some point, I think like we all need to avoid having because sometimes that silence of being alone speaks so loud that you want to just have somebody around to keep you from hearing that. But at the same time, we can't. That silence is around because it's something that's in you that needs to be worked on, or that's unfulfilled, or that you haven't gotten a chance to get over, and you need to take that time to heal and grow
yeah.
from it. So dating multiple people while single is 100% fine, but also being single and taking that time to just focus on you is 100% fine too. It just depends on where you are in life. There's no one answer for everyone. Everyone isn't meant to date multiple people. They can't handle it. Everyone,
Right.
it like they'll be idle and it causes them depression not to. So it's just a fine line. You got to be honest with where you are, and that, I think that starts with us identifying what's going on with us before we worry about adding other people to our shit.
Yeah. Without
And
getting
don't
too
have ugly feet. If you a woman and you plan on dating, don't have.
without
Listen,
getting too deep into it, I just feel like if you don't feel whole, if you're not completely healed from a
mhm,
past relationship, you should not be dating because essentially you're just
I feel it.
using new people to fill a hole that's there that will never be filled if you don't fill it yourself with your own shit. So that's why my thing with Josh was like, stay single, heal yourself, take your time, go to therapy if you need to, and then once you feel like you're whole, you start dating other people. But don't
There you
just
go.
and you can't use the excuse of, well, they know what it is, they know that this is not what I want, because that's not always the case. It's not always so black and white. A lot of times we think it is, and it's very gray. So complete yourself, work on yourself, and then move forward.
That's a fact. There you go. Great words from a great woman. You be preaching on here. I'm proud of you. You be preaching a little bit. I be seeing you. I see the growth in you. Um, let's move on to the next topic that we have for this week. And the next topic is: are titles in a relationship made to make you feel more comfortable? And I know there are going to be people who hear this question. I know I'm going to get my DMs. But the reason why I present this right is that some people are so let me flesh this out. Some people are so after that title of being the girlfriend or being the thing to think that that automatically secures their place. But if neither one of you have done the work to secure the relationship, that title don't really mean shit. And I think some people rush to these titles just so they can not feel like there's a gray area. Listen. You can be someone's girl. You can be somebody's wife, and there still be a gray area in your relationship. So like people that and dudes, and I don't want to. I know I kind of gear it towards women because I'm a man and I date women, but men
Right.
too. Like they think that title of being somebody's boyfriend or thinking being somebody's husband or fiance secures their spot, and they get lazy in that because in their mind they got the security because they have the title. What do you think?
Okay, I get both sides. Maybe it's the Gemini in me, but I get both sides. I feel like for women, we prefer the title because the title, in the level that you are in a relationship and comes with certain shit. Like it comes with certain perks, shall you say. And when you're not anything, it don't come with nothing.
That's
So it's
true.
like, what are we doing? Like, am I your girl? Am I your homie? Am I your friend? Like, what are we doing? And that's why a lot of women don't care for gray area. What do you want us to be? It's not that we have so much of issue of like being the girl that you call when you just want to hit it or nothing like that. It's just let me know. And I've said this to you before. Which lane in my brain do I need to put you in? Because the blurred lines fucks me up in the head. Like, where do I need to put you? Are you just a friend? Are you just a homie? Are you just a fuck buddy? Are you just whatever? Like, what are you? So titles kind of help when it comes to us, like the woman side of things. And then the other part is like I can't hold you accountable for things without a title. Like if we're just friends and we're fucking, I can't come to you off some emotional type shit because or like some woman type problems because I'm not your girl. So there's very thin lines in between each one. But I prefer, like, this is one of the cases where I would prefer the title. Like, what are we doing? What's happening? Let me know.
I don't, and this is the thing is I don't get that. And like, if somebody was to come to me with that, my exact answer would be, we don't got like if you have to ask that, then we don't have a fucking title, and that's okay. Like I think like people, because at the end of the day, people are people. And I guess for me, if I'm going to be fucking with somebody, period, at this point in my life, if I'm going to be fucking with you, if we're having sex, if we're just hanging out and kicking it and having casual sex, if whatever that is, if I've reached that level with you, then to me, you can come to me about anything. You can talk to me about shit. Like, so, like, I think a title is going to change what you can and can't come to me for. It's like, to me, in the way that I am now, and anybody who I would be messing with at this point, it would be like, we would already have it established to where we have that communication. Like, I don't, and but on the flip side of that, if I'm just fucking you, then you already know. If you're not texting me about I need some dick, and I'm not texting you about, hey, I need some head, then we're not talking. So at that point, you damn right. You can't. I don't give a damn what's going on with you. If you come get the pussy when I need to get it, then that's what it is. If you calling me like, hey, I can't make my rent, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me. You can come over here when we want to fuck, but you see, wherever you go after that is on you. So like, I think like for me, if we gotten to the point where a title is even on the table, then you would know that. Like we would have that conversation. I would communicate it. So it's not. I don't know. For me, there is no gray area because I'm gonna do me regardless. Like I'm good. Like I don't need someone to give me a label or say, oh, we're just friends with benefits, or hey, I like you and I'm not ready for an exclusive relationship, and maybe that's the way I want to go. I don't need that because if you would know if we're even on that level at that point, or I don't need it because when it comes time to get the title, we'll have that conversation. We'll have that communication. And maybe I'm just fine being in the gray area. Maybe I just don't give a fuck. Maybe I just live my life. Like, I don't know what it is, but for me, it's like titles for me are just like, come on, man. Like you need a title to identify what we doing. That shit don't make any sense to me.
This is making me cringe for various reasons. Because, okay, so you said if you, in your eyes, if you're ready for a title to be had, then you will have the conversation. So essentially, a woman has to wait for you to bring it to her table before there's a conversation about it.
No, but but it's a closed mouths don't get fed. If you get to the point to where you feel like, hey, I want some clarity on it, then bring it to me. Let's talk about it. I'm not saying that I have to be the one to bring it up, but I'm saying that if there's a conversation that needs to be had, anybody that I'm fucking with knows that I'm so open with conversation. You don't have to sit in the gray area and be uncomfortable. All you got to do is ask me, hey, I'm a little confused about what the fuck we doing. And I'm gonna look at you in your face and tell you this is what the fuck we doing, and then you can tell me whether it's something you can deal with or not. But like the place where I am in my life, like I'm so honest with where I am, and I'm so fine with having some of the conversations that are usually uncomfortable for people, that for me, it's like, just ask it. Like if you like, just say, hey, you can't keep coming over here and fucking me if we ain't together because I can't handle this shit. And I'll be like, All right, I ain't gotta come over and fuck you no more. We can meet and go get wings. It's all good. Like, it just, I don't get
But
it.
see,
Like,
this is the thing. So many people, men and women, both think
hey, hey,
that
lady,
they're
I need you
very
to move over to your right a little bit because all I see is titty. There you go. Thank you.
okay. So many people think that they are being very clear, and a lot of times people don't realize that their words don't match with their actions. So one could say, okay, this is what it is and this is what it is, but your actions show differently.
What do you
So
mean by that? What do you mean by actions are different? Explain it. Let's flesh that out. Let's have this conversation. I feel like this is, as much as we got a lot to get to in this episode, I feel like this is where it's going to be a lot of people get a lot out of. No, all jokes aside, I know I crack my jokes, but like, so what do you mean by that?
okay, so perfect example. Remember the Sweet Jones conversation we had a few episodes ago?
Okay,
So
leave my
his thing
toxic brother
was
alone. Leave my toxic brother alone.
so his thing was, okay, I'm single, I'm getting to know people, whatever.
Hmm.
But he would bring over flowers, he would bring over dinner, they would cook together, they would do very intimate romantic stuff. Your words are not matching with what the
That's
fuck
not
you're
true.
doing.
Let me put that there. That's one of the stupidest things ever. Because back in the day, you would bring flowers to the girl, her mother, show up and cut the grass, all that before you were even allowed to even take her out on a date. So to say that flowers confuse it to where if you're exclusive or not, I don't get that because that can just be gentlemanly. Hell, I could bring flowers to my boss at work. I can bring flowers to my kid's teacher and have him bring it. Like, and people, the only thing that confuses people on like stuff like flowers is that you're carrying your feelings in your vagina. He fucked you good, so
No,
now I'm serious. Like, it doesn't make any sense for you to say that
no.
somebody bringing flowers confuses you. They're fucking flowers. I didn't bring you an engagement ring and say,
First
hey,
of
this is a
all,
ring, but we still just fucking. Like, I don't get that.
I don't want you to get stuck on the flower thing. That was just an
Okay.
example.
Okay.
But a lot of women see flowers as something very romantic, and a lot of times men,
Flowers stink.
especially
Stop getting caught up in that shit. That shit stink. I'm
listen,
sorry. Go ahead.
these days specifically, a lot of men do not do the flower thing unless they're
Hmm.
really into you. Like they want to see where it goes. They're not just fucking you. They legit want to see where it goes. So when
Let
a
me.
woman gets
I'm sorry.
flowers, when a woman gets romanced in other ways, when she gets her feet rubbed and she gets dinner brought to her and cash apps, it's
All that says to
like,
me is that you guys for so long have settled for so less that stuff that used to be the basics now you look at as being more than what it is just because you guys have settled on niggas not doing shit and still getting pussy. That's all. And I don't mean to be
maybe,
that. That's all that means to me. For you to
maybe.
say that like bringing flowers confuses stuff or like people only do that when they no people do that when they want to fuck you and they want to make you feel like oh I'm doing the most so let's bring flowers. That shit is used to be basic bare minimum. So it's
Okay, so let's go with that, right? Let's go with
okay.
that. Let's go with that. It's supposed to be bare minimum. So if that's bare minimum, what is a nigga that is actually interested in you and wants to
Mhm.
court you? What the fuck is he supposed to do? What is
It's
the
not
difference
actions. At that point,
between
it's not an item. It's the time that we spend together. It's the intimate conversations. It's the fact that if I call you and say at 1 o'clock in the morning and I know you're up and I'm like, hey, I just got in. I wanted to, I got in from hanging with the boys, but you were on my mind. I know we haven't talked very much today. Like, how's your day been going? And I'm tired and we laying in bed, my feet's up, I'm laying on my stomach texting you, whatever. That's what's intimate. Flowers aren't intimate. It's those, it's the I'm driving you. Hey, I know I may not be able to sit here and have lunch with you all day, but I want to drop off lunch to you. I know you've been working hard. Those are the type of things. Flowers, nah, bro. Flowers ain't doing it. Like flowers should not be doing it for you guys.
again?
Dates, at this point, dates are a dime a dozen. It should be the intimate, the connection of getting to know you and all your flaws that make it intimate. Flowers shouldn't make it intimate. A walk
Okay,
in the park
okay,
shouldn't necessarily make it intimate.
okay. We're not gonna agree on this. So let's go to the
Okay.
next thing. How is because I'm curious now. Like now you got my
Okay.
mind going. So how is a woman supposed to know the difference between a guy really being interested in her and a guy just doing what he thinks needs to be done in order to get the draws or the bare minimum, as you say?
Discernment is a big part of it, and I think like men and women don't really they rely, and this is something that I say all the time, is that we have now replaced attention with thinking that the amount of attention somebody gives you means the depth that they're getting to know you. And that's not like, some people give you a lot of attention because they have nothing else to offer you. So they will confuse you and love bomb you with a lot of attention, and you'll think, oh, they're so into me, and not thinking that they ain't gave you shit mentally. They ain't fed into your emotional health. All they're doing is giving you a bunch of attention and sending you a few text messages throughout the day that make you think like they're all into you. So I would think like discernment is a big part of it, but you also have to watch what they do in between those times. If I'm showing up, if I try to make everything this like seemingly grandiose thing, and I'm always showing up with flowers or whatever, but that's all you get from me, is like I give you flowers every 2 weeks, but the in between time I'm not really feeding into you at all. That should tell you something. They're doing these big events because they think it's going to be the big marquee things that then seal the deal with you, when it's really the in between things that make stuff special. To me, in my opinion.
Okay.
If I'm texting you like, hey babe, how'd your therapy session go? If you don't want to talk to me, it's cool, but like, how do you go? Do you feel better? Did that ease something off of you? Should be way more important than me sending you 20 text messages throughout the day.
You may be partially right.
Just
Partially. Not
and
a
I'm
hundred
saying
percent, but
I'm not, and
partially.
I'm not. I'm saying that this is, and I'm one who's very. I realize that like the way that I think and that I feel isn't very common for everyone, but I also realize that there may be some gray area in there because, not gray area, but there also may be things that I'm missing. Like, because I get it, people, the things that like getting little flowers or like showing you a bunch of text messages throughout the day, like that does make you feel like you're thought about. But at
It
the end of the
does.
day, like it does, and I understand that. But outside of that, to me, at this point, I guess maybe it's also because I was married at one point. We texted each other all day, almost every day, and at the end of the day, in our relationship, what was missing was us connecting truly. So I can speak through experience that constant communication, constant attention doesn't always mean that you're connecting in the proper way. So I think for me, maybe now that I've been through that, I look too much on the other side way. So it's kind of somewhere in between. But that's just where I am.
So here's a personal question.
Okay.
So because you've been married and that's how it ended up for you,
Hmm.
do you ever realize that not all people and situations are the same? So
Absolutely.
what may have worked or not worked for one may work or not work for the next person.
And see, and when I say this, I'm talking about what works for me. And what works for me is universal. I have to learn the person that I end up with and what works for them. You absolutely do. So if long conversations at night about how we're going to build our empire don't do it for you, but text messages and emojis do it for you, all right, cool, then I need to make that amendment. But you then can't expect that same thing that works for you to work for me, because I can tell you right now, you can text me all motherfucking day, you can randomly call me, I'm just going to look at the phone ring. I ain't
But
got
is it
time for none of that shit. but
not
but but for me, the moment that you text me, you're like, hey, I listened to your episode, or hey, I heard that you're going to be filming this. Have you thought about doing this? Have like, those are the conversations that make tell me that you're paying attention to me, and so that's what I look for. So,
okay? We might have to do a
and
series on this
and
because this
feet
one needs
pics,
to come
feet pics.
around.
I don't even want nudes. Like I'm telling you, women right now.
Really?
I've
Everyone
seen
wants
so
news.
I've seen so many titties and nipples and vaginas. That shit don't do nothing for me. But send me a fresh pedicure pic. Listen, that's
But
that's
see,
all I need.
that goes back to not everything that everyone does have the same effect. So okay, so you saw a bunch of cooch and booby pictures, but the
Uh-huh.
one that you may be feeling the most that sends it to you,
No,
it's
I'm telling you right now.
a
I'm
little
telling
bit.
you right now. There is no titty in the, unless that motherfucker, unless when I suck on that motherfucker, it tastes like Skittles. There is no titty in the world that I can honestly say at this point. I'm looking at my phone like I'm glad I got this titty pic. And that's not to say that I won't say it's sexy. It may not even make turn me on, but I don't give, like, honestly. I can never get another titty pic in my life, but I will
It'll
never
be
get tired of
okay.
pics of feet. I will never get tired of feet pics. Never. You can send me feet pics from now until Friday every minute, and I will never say, "Hey, this is too many feet." I would never say that.
Oh my lord. All right, so you hear that? Don't send him nudes. If you like CJ and you're trying to get his attention, do not send him nudes. Don't do that.
And especially if you got high arches on your feet. Listen, I need them arch pics. I need that shit. Fuck a back arch. I'll make you get in the right position when I'm hitting it from the back. But that foot
Oh
arch,
god.
listen, that shit is unprecedented. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. This is our last topic before we move into the questions for this week. And this one is, now I did see this one in the conversation on Twitter, I believe. It's, is someone having only friends of the opposite sex a red flag for you?
No. For me, it would depend on the kind of relationship that he has with these friends. That would be the red flag. So if he is so close to these females to where I feel like they might have fucked before, or there's some type of sexual tension,
Mm-hmm.
or like she wants him, but he's not recognizing what the hell it is, then that may make me feel slightly uncomfortable. But in general, no. Like if y'all are just platonic friends and there's nothing, I don't like that's not a big deal.
All right. So what if they fucked one time? They realized it didn't work for them, and they've been let's even say they were fucking for a year. They realized that didn't work
Oh
for them.
yeah.
Hold on, wait. Let me finish. That they were fucking for a year. They realized that didn't work for them, and now they've been just friends for 4 years after that year of fucking.
Again, me as the new person coming in,
Mm-hmm.
I have to not feel no sexual tension. If I feel like there's sexual tension, not so much from him to her, because I feel like it can be one sided. If I feel like he ain't paying her no attention, that's cool. But if I feel like it's her to him and it's to
Mm-hmm.
the point where it's getting like disrespectful and it's obvious and all that, then I'd be like, all right, nigga, look.
Oh yeah,
Like this is
definitely. You
what it
shouldn't stand
is.
for disrespect. You shouldn't the
This is what it
disrespect. You shouldn't
is. This
stand
is
for it all.
what you need to look out for. I don't like this shit. I'm like, check it ASAP before I
Okay.
do.
Okay, I feel that. I think too, and this is a case where I think it's important to be able to have that, like to feel comfortable enough to talk to your partner honestly about it. And this may be one of those situations where it matters who ended it, right? Because
Yeah.
follow my logic. Because if if I'm in, like say I get in a relationship with somebody, and let's say me and you were fucking for me and you have been friends for 6 years. So let's say we were fucking for the first year and we've been friends for 5 years after that. But you cut it off with me and I still wanted to fuck, then I couldn't be mad at the woman I get with being like, oh no, y'all can't, you kind of got to cut that because I can tell you still kind
Yeah.
of lust after her. You got to be honest with it because and then
Yeah.
if you guys mutually decided like, hey, we're just better off with friends, then it's like, all right, well they decided, they were adult, they had a conversation, they've been friends since then. But like if it's like, I feel like if it's one who just kind of cut it off, and like that's where it gets into like we got to kind of talk about what's going on here because that can get a little weird.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, depending on who cut it off. And again, as a new person coming in, because again, y'all have history.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I have very good intuition and discernment.
No, you don't.
So
No, you
yes,
don't. That's a
I
lie.
do.
That's a lie. That's a lie. This is coming from the woman who last week admitted that she kicked somebody out their house, but not out their coochie. Like, no, that's
Listen,
not you.
that was old. Okay? That was old. So we're not going back there. We're not talking about that shit no more. This is new shit. Okay, I've gone to therapy since then. Okay, new shit, nigga. So my thing is, I know when. Plus, I'm a woman, so I know when another woman is trying to get a nigga's attention.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
Just
enough.
what it is. Just like if I'm oblivious to something, like I have a male friend and I'm oblivious to him wanting me, and you came around and you were like, "Oh, that nigga wants you." I'm gonna be like, "No, that's just my friend." You're gonna be like, "No, I'm a guy. I understand what happens, and this is what we do." And da 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 da. And then I'm gonna have to be like, "All right, you're right. I believe you." And then I have to go from there. But yeah, it depends on how the interaction is. Like I'm okay with people fucking for a little while and then figuring out it didn't work and then being friends. But at the point where I come in, if y'all a little too friendly for my comfortability, I'm gonna be like, all right, look, babe, this is what I noticed, this is what I don't like.
So
And this is
so
another thing.
what if he then says like we just give each other head from time to time? That's all.
Are you minding you minding like the
Oh man, I love fucking with you. I love doing this shit to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That I just love fucking with you. I apologize. I had to throw that
listen.
curveball in there.
I was told this week first I was told that I was possessive. I ain't like that. I had to look that up. I ain't gonna hold you. But then I was told I was territorial. And then I looked that up and I was like, okay, that makes it a little better. Like, okay, I can see myself being more territorial than possessive. So I'll give you that. But
We got a question on the board that I want to read whenever you get a chance.
yeah, I can't the head thing, like do to me what you would want done to you. If I can't get hair from one of my friends, then you don't need to be getting hair from one of your friends, and that's how we gonna operate.
All right, cool. We got a question. This is one is from Latrice.
Okay.
Um, it's I've been through something similar, but I never fucked a friend. Lusting after me and my boyfriend at the time had insecurity issues. Not a good mix. What do you think about that? Do you agree with
It's
that?
not a good mix. See, this is my thing is when I'm with somebody, I'm gonna make you feel uber secure. If I have male friends of the opposite sex, you're going to meet all of them. You're going to hang with all of them. We're all going to hang together more than once so that you can see what the vibe is. If you feel uncomfortable at any point, you can tell me. We can have a conversation. I can explain to you whatever it is, and then we can go from there. But I don't ever want my nigga to feel like he has competition because he doesn't.
Okay, cool. I understand that. I can get with it. I can get with it. I ain't mad at it at all. But I'm just saying, like, it what's wrong with a little head between? No, let me stop playing before people think I'm crazy. I got a funny story before we move into the
I
next
was about
segment.
to
Right, I got a
say.
funny story. So everyone knows that like feet are my thing. I love pretty feet. I have to see the woman's feet before I even am seen in public with her. Right. So
Yeah.
before I got into my love of feet, I happened to fuck one girl with ugly feet. Right in high school. Why did my friends in my group chat today? Like, because she's still for their friends with her on Facebook, and I guess like she posted a pic of her feet, and they were like, "Oh, but you like pretty feet, though, nigga." I'm like, "You motherfuckers!" Like that was even before I was even looking at feet. So I had to share that story because I'm on here talking about feet, and like they brought up the fact that I had smashed maybe a girl with an ugly foot before, but I feel like that don't count. If I smash you and you got ugly feet, that don't count. That gets wiped from my record.
Listen, that always counts. You got to hold that L. You got to hold that L.
I'm not holding that L. I don't fuck
And
with
your friends
motherfuckers with
are
ugly
holding
feet.
you accountable.
All right, we got another one that I want to read before we move into your cookie of the week, and this one is from I'm look. I'm sorry because I know I'm gonna murder your name, so I completely apologize for the way I'm about to pronounce this.
Espianco.
Cianco, there you go. Look at you. You dope. So this one is it's not a good mix. My boyfriend broke up with me over something like that. LOL. And I tried to have him meet the guy to show him there was no comp.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I
I
mean,
think I think at that point. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Don't let me step on.
no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I think at that point you did what you're supposed to do, right? And you have to respect people where they are. If you've done what you needed to do in that situation, and they still decide that they want to end things with you, then you just got to wipe your hands from it. You've done what you can do, and they obviously couldn't deal with it. It's better that you learned it then than them try to act like they could deal with it, and then it fester and grow over time. So I feel like you did what you were supposed to do in that case. What do you think?
Um, yes. So I used to be the girlfriend that would try to figure out why my man thought the way that he thought, like what his thought process was, so that I can reassure him. But like
Mm-hmm.
CJ said, at this point in life, I'm not doing all that. If that's where you are, if you don't, because it sounded like he didn't trust you. If that's where you are and you don't trust me and you don't trust the people around me, like my argument would have been, I've known him longer than you. I would have been with him if that's what I wanted, but I chose you.
Mm.
So If you feel uncomfortable with that, I don't know what to do. You might
Well, there you
be
go.
one for me.
Words from a great woman. There you go. That's it. That's it.
I'm just
I
saying.
think we hit that topic good enough. We for the watchers here on Facebook Live, you're not actually going to get a break. We don't get into a break. This is what we do for how we edit the podcast and the YouTube channel. But you got a cookie of the week this week. Who's the cookie of the week? And does she
I
have pretty feet?
feel.
Does she have? I'm telling you right now, if she don't have pretty feet, I'm not putting. No, let me stop playing. Go ahead.
Well, I know y'all seen last week's cookie of the week. Okay, if you follow us on YouTube, go to YouTube, follow Love, Lust, and Badass Soul, and see our cookie of the week. This week's cookie of the week is my cousin. And it's not because it's my cousin, it's because she's beautiful and she's young and she's navigating her way through life and she's doing her thug dizzle. And her name is Ranice Goldring. And
Okay.
you can find her on Facebook. But that's my baby. And she's also going to be my model. So Saturday when I shoot the new inventory for Ladi Haven, she will be coming in and being the model. I'll go live for that in the group and on my personal page so that you can meet her. She can introduce herself and you guys can get to know her. But her name is Ronice Goldring. Ronnesse. Gold ring like a gold ring on your finger.
What do the toes look like? I'll go find it.
I
Don't even
don't
worry
know
about it. I'll
what
find
the
it.
toes look like.
Nigga, come on now. Like you already know I'm gonna ask. Like, how you gonna be my friend of so many years? We've been friends damn near a decade, and you know not to look at the toes. You know before you bring any woman around me, you have to check out the toes for
Listen,
me. I feel like
when
that's the
I
filter. You should do that.
when I'm meeting women and chilling with women, I'm not thinking about them for you, so I ain't looking at the feet. But yeah, I don't know what her feet
It
look
be your own people. It be your own people who do you wrong. That's all I got to say. It be your own people. All right,
You'll
so we're gonna
see
get
on
into
Saturday
we're gonna
though.
get into the questions for this week's episode, and this first one. Listen,
Wow,
just the title had me like motherfucker, and I listen.
wow.
I don't want to hate anybody from this because I said some stuff last week. They got people on me about white women. So let me just say this clearly: if you are a white person and you listen to this podcast, we love you just the same. But there are certain things that just don't happen in the black community that I pretty much can call out. So like that's all I'm gonna say. I love my I'm half white. Like come on now, I love white people. My dad's white. My dad's my favorite person in the world. That sounded like some Trump shit. I apologize for that. But the title of this one is I'm dating my mom. So they gotta be British. They just by the
Gotta
way
be.
saying that they gotta be British. Shout out. We're international. Shout out by the way. So this one is I thought the Oedipus complex was nonsense until now. For some messed up reason, I'm in love with the girl with all the qualities of my mom that I hate. She's emotionally volatile, has a jealous streak, thinks money grows on cheese, and her love is very is she Latina? Her love is very conditional. Not only do I love a girl with these qualities, I love her for having them, and we're going on 3 months. You 3 months? Come on. It's like I don't know love any other way, so I won't hate it any other way. Have you noticed the Oedipus complex in yourself? Do you embrace it or do your best to overcome it? Listen, I can tell you one thing right now. I love my mama. My mama is my nigga. I got my mom's name tattooed on my back because she has my back like nobody else. She's beautiful for anyone who's seen pictures of my mama. She doesn't age, but
Too
I
bad.
don't want nobody who reminds me of my mama. I don't want that shit. So, like, no, I don't know nothing about an Oedipus complex because I ain't living that life. That's not the life I live. But Tia, have you caught this any in your life?
So I feel like everyone has it to a certain extent. Like for me, my dad was an awesome provider. He made sure that he worked in order to take care of his kids and take care of his household. So when it comes to that part of a relationship and dealing with a man, that's something that I look for. Now, do I want all the other qualities that my father has in a man? Absolutely not. I don't think, and you know, Hayes, I don't want none of that. So I think there's certain things that we look for that our parents possess that we want in our mate, but I don't think it's everything to a T. Like this, like being volatile emotionally and jealous.
That sounds abusive. Like that.
Yeah,
That's emotionally
like
abusive.
emotionally abusive. I
Yeah.
can't. You need to reevaluate that. First of all, and I hate to say this, but you need to go to therapy. You need to go to counseling. You need to get a better relationship with your mother if she's still around, God forbid. But this is not healthy. And you shouldn't want to be in a relationship with somebody that's like this. And it's only been 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know, this
think. I
is
think
not
too. Like
healthy.
this seems like to me, and I know I always crack a joke, so I'm sorry, but like to get to the serious response to this, the way that I see this is that you've normalized what you went through growing up with your mother. We've all done
Yep.
it with our parents. We normalize certain things, and we know our parents love us, so it's easy to identify those actions as being love because that's
Right.
just what we're used to seeing. But at the same time, you have to think about, and I'm not saying give up on the relationship because maybe you've normalized and you haven't communicated to her either that you view it this way, but you need to get therapy first. I think to get over some things, and I don't like throwing that get therapy line on everything, but I think in a case like this, like especially when it's something you've grown up with, it can't hurt to really identify what you actually do need, and then you can communicate with your partner. Hey, this is what I'm noticing. I kind of dealt with it because I grew up, so I was used to it, but I'm not happy with this. But unfortunately, it seems like you're kind of happy in it. It's still kind of like, whoo, this is deep, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like it's 3 months too. And I think also you saying that you singing these praises of like you're all deeply in love within 3 months really also says something that you feel like it feels like love because that's what you grew up under. And like you
Mhm.
may you may not actually be in love. I'm not saying that people can't fall in love in 3 months because I'm one of those people who really feel like love happens in the time that it's supposed to happen. And you can fall in love with somebody in 2 weeks. I truly feel that that's possible. Not normal, not usual, but it's possible. But in this case, I just feel like I don't know. I feel like you need to get more in touch with you and kind of get over some of the things you grew up with. That's
Yeah,
what I
this
feel.
is a bit much. It's a bit much. I think you should seek date other people. I feel like once you know what love really is and you experience it, then you will see that this is not healthy and this is not something that you want long term. So date other people and not other people with the same traits. Kind of get outside of your comfort zone. Again, go to counseling and therapy and see what else is out there. Because this ain't it, honey. This is not the end all be all. You need to figure out what real love is all about.
And we've all had our toxic love. Like let's
Yeah,
be honest. We've all had that relationship where they were either toxic to us, we were toxic to them. Hell, y'all were toxic together. We've all gone through that toxic relationship. So it's not anything that I want to make it seem like it's abnormal to go through or whatnot, especially when you're younger. Because my first real relationship, looking back at that shit, like if we would have tried to stay together, we would not my marriage. Before that, we would have fucking probably murdered each other, being batshit ass crazy. And you got me watching Shameless. We would have been on some shit like Monica and Frank. Like that's
I
some
love
toxic fucking
him.
love. That's some toxic fucking love. But I mean, we all go through our toxic love. So really, it's you kind of identify it, but you're kind of rationalizing it as you're identifying it in this
Right.
email. So I would think like really take some time for you and kind of figure it out, and your opinion on it you may find that it changes a little bit. I hate when I
Yeah,
gotta
don't
talk my real grown shit because I really like being the goofy asshole, but like people need advice, and I really had to get serious on that one. But at the same time, that motherfucker is crazy. Like I bet the sex is fire. I
oh
bet the
yeah,
sex is fucking amazing though.
toxic
Like
sex is fire as fuck, okay? But
man,
don't
there
get
ain't nothing better than fucking with somebody that you ain't got no business fucking with, and y'all just fucking the shit out of each other. That shit is fire.
yeah, don't make these traits a habit in what you look for in the opposite sexual relationships. Don't do that.
All
Don't do
right.
that.
You want to read this next one?
Sure. Okay, so
All right.
this says my coworker who hates me invited me over to have dinner and some drinks with her. Why? Now this one was like insane to me. All right, so I've seen her For close to a year when I started working here, and we met each other, and everything was good until I had an incident with another coworker, asshole guy. She got upset because I was arguing with him, and he is an old man, still a real asshole. And she got mad because I told him to go fuck himself and that I shouldn't be disrespecting my elders. So since then, she has talked about me to other coworkers. I've heard her. And so my natural reaction was to avoid her as much as possible. I despise, I think she meant to say, seeing her every single day. So what happened was she came up to me again, and I thought she was going to badmouth me, but instead she asked why I was so distant. She asked my age. Then she said that she wanted to invite me to go have some drinks at her home and have dinner. And
She
she
want to
said,
pop that pussy for a real nigga. I'm sorry, go
okay.
ahead.
And she said that if things felt right, she wanted me to stay over with her. She gave me the address and told me the time, etc., and then gave me a kiss on the cheek. As I said, I've always seen her talk about me to other coworkers. They're always staring at me. And I've heard her say my name before. I said, okay, but I'm very confused as to why she would want to do this since she doesn't like me. She's a decent person and she's really good looking, so I don't mind. But why would she do this? Any advice or ideas why or on what I should do?
You want to take this one first? You want me to take it first? What do you want to do?
You can go first.
Listen, this kind of goes back to what we said before, like toxic sex, right? I think
Mhm.
like to put it into like really simple terms is like you remember how like in school people would like be mean to the person and really like them. I feel like
Yes,
that's what it is. I also
yes.
feel like maybe it was a territory thing. Maybe she did identify that she was attracted to you. Maybe not wanting a relationship with you, but she wanted to fuck you. But so she was kind of bad mouthing you, talking about you to other coworkers to see who else may be feeling the same way, or to kind of clear that field. Um, and I can honestly say this goes back to kind of that toxic thing. There's nothing like fucking somebody you don't like, because you can do all types of shit to them and you don't even like them any goddamn way. So like maybe she's just like, look, I don't like you for real, but I like what you're working with, and I feel like we can have some fun. That I've been in a situation like that. I'm releasing too much information, but I've been in a situation similar to this. And I would honestly say it's great sex also. So maybe if you can, and I'm not saying like, all jokes aside, like if you feel like this person is bad mouthing you and disrespecting you, don't feel obligated to have sex with them. Don't feel obligated to go over. Tell them to go fuck themselves. But
Okay.
at the same time, if you don't give a fuck and you like, hey, this is somebody that I won't feel bad about sticking my dry thumb in they ass. Do your thing. Go fuck her and do your thing. You got because you got to lick the thumb first before you stick it in a little bit. But like if you don't give a fuck about them, just stick the shit in. Stick two fingers in the ass at the same time while you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Woosah. Okay. So first
Do you
of
like the
all,
thumb in the butt? By the way, do you like the thumb in your butt?
we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, why I gotta address you. Why are you fucking people that you don't like? I can't fuck nobody I don't like. Now,
No, now I couldn't. Nowadays I couldn't. But back when I was
even if
listen,
they're
back I
attractive,
shot. I call names on her. Shout out to Amanda Knox. Cause I hated her motherfucking ass, but we had some amazing fucking sex. And when I tell you I would pull up my pants and get and immediately leave and not even look at her, I didn't get no wet rag. I didn't want one myself. I just had to get the fuck up out of there. But the 20 minutes that we had in between that was amazing.
Jesus, I can't. Okay, let's get past that. We'll come back to that in a second. I can't fuck nobody that I don't like. I don't care how attractive you are. If I don't fuck with you and your personality and how you treat me, your looks don't matter at that point. To me, you're ugly. So I personally would want to know what the fuck is up. Like I'm bold. I don't like the gray area. I don't like the in between. I would have just been like, listen, I done heard you say XYZ. We done had confrontations before. Why you want me to come over now? Like, what the fuck? What is this? What's happening? I don't like this. What is this about? If you really liked me all this time, then you should have said that. Now you're childish because you're going around telling people shit about me, but you really want to fuck me, which is not gonna make me want to fuck you any more than usual. I would have carried her, but that's just me. I understand you got to work there, so but then you got to wonder like. Okay, so if I go to her house and I fuck her, she didn't already talk shit about me. Is she gonna go back and tell all these bitches the same shit? Like she fucked me and I was over. Like she just seemed messy.
It's gonna be some boomerang shit. She's gonna embarrass him. He's gonna be walking down the
Yeah,
hallway.
messy. She seemed
Wait,
like
is that the right? Yeah, that's the right movie.
Now you could be super petty if you're that attracted to her and fuck her and then beat her to the punch and tell everybody what she was like. But then you got to remember that you worked there. So are you gonna quit or are you gonna be petty? It's just too much. I just wouldn't do it.
I feel like this will settle it all, right? You fuck her great. You guys have great sex, and then when you come, you aim it like for her hair, not her face, but don't let her know that. And then afterwards, you just leave her weave, her perm, whatever is fucked up. You just walk out and leave. That way, it's like you keep the hate going. Like at that point, what is she gonna say? He fucked me good, but then he nutted him. Like there's nothing to say at that point. Like, bitch, I nutted in your wig. Like, what you gonna do about it? Like, what the fuck we doing here?
I mean, I get that, but at the same time, I'm the type of female. I'm not gonna give you no reason to talk shit about me. Period. Whether it was good or bad, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction. I'm not gonna fuck with you. I'm gonna curry the fuck out of you, and I'm gonna do it obviously, and then everybody gonna see it because they gonna know what the fuck it is. I'm not fucking with you. You done talk shit about me. You childish, and she's probably older than the girl.
She asked his age. Yeah.
I don't got time for this. I can't do it.
Listen, have you ever hate fucked a woman who's about 8? Well, not a woman, but hate fucking like a woman who's about 8 to 10 years older than you is good because, like, you know how like. Never mind. Let me stop before I get. Somebody's gonna put me on the list. I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
About that.
I'm just. That used to be my go-to move, though. Real talk is that if I didn't really give a damn about you, like, and you were gonna take the splash to the face, I would do it in your hair, like, and it'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, it came out a little bit more force. Just saying.
But that's how I feel about men coming on females' face, like. It's kind of like I think it initially started as a sign of disrespect or like I don't really fuck with you, and then it became this other thing. So that's why. Never mind. We'll talk about that in another episode.
So wait, you gotta answer that. You gotta answer the question. Do you like the thumb in the butt?
I'll do the thumb in the butt. That's fine. That's some average shit. That's fine.
I was about to say, come on, you can't be on a sex podcast and be a host and be basic. I'm gonna call you out on some of your basic tendencies. I'm just as they reveal themselves, I'm calling you the fuck out. So I'm just letting you know.
Ain't shit about me basic, okay? Nothing.
I don't know. That forehead kind of basic, but I ain't gonna say nothing about that. And you know your third toe kind of sometime me. So like you got some basic qualities, but
let me tell you something. I'm gonna post my feet in the group, okay? And I'll let other people be the judge, because you ain't no good judge. You not no good. I ain't fucking with you today. I'm not fucking with you today. You've been on one for the past few hours. I'm not fucking with you today. You understand?
Oh man. All right. That's it for this week, people. We want to thank you guys for fucking with us and laughing with us along all this crazy shit. You can expect us to do this every week. We'll be streaming live to the Facebook group. You guys seem to really enjoy it, so we're gonna keep doing it. It also keeps us on our toes as podcasters. You know, it's easy to pre-record something, but when you gotta be entertaining and do it live too, it kind of keeps us on our toes as we prepare for our live show tour that we're doing next year. But that's just a little tease. We're gonna leave that at that. T will be getting titty fucked on stage by somebody I'm gonna pick from the audience.
No, the fuck I am not. Don't be telling these people that, Cordero. Do not do that.
Hold on, wait a second.
My strap will be ready for you. If we titty fucking, we strap fucking too. So what we doing? Don't show off for the people, okay? Don't.
Oh, right. Go ahead and give them your social media so we can get up out of here.
You can catch me at the First Lady, DAFIRST _ LADI, or Tia, the First Lady on Facebook.
listen, listen. The reason why I'm laughing so hard is because my goal this whole episode was to get you to snap at me. So I'm glad I finally did it.
And you would do it the episode that I went out for happy hour first. And then came in here.
Oh man, this is why me and T work so good because I know how to hit her buttons, and so that was fun. I'm sorry. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. That's CEOHAIZE. You can follow us collectively at Lovelust and BAS Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns to lovelustandbas@gmail.com. Just like we read questions on this week's episode. If you want your question read, make sure you send it to that email. And then lastly, we do have a
or if you need advice.
Or if you need advice as well. And then also we do have a hotline, 614-547-2039 that you can call us at. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on this podcast. But that's it. We are the #1 adult podcast in all the motherfucking land. Shout out to my beautiful co-host Tia, who's a great sport, who gives the shit back to me. You know I love you. But that's it for this week's episode. We love each and every one of you guys. Peace.